If this found you, then this is perfect timing. Make sure you watch the whole video, and usually I don't start my videos off like that, but if this has found you, you are trying to manifest something. You're trying to manifest something important in your life. You are trying to manifest something big. You are trying to manifest something that maybe you've been trying to manifest for a very long time. And this video will help you to finally begin to anchor it in so that you can survive the long nights, right? The short days, the long nights, and you can finally get to the end of that very, very long tunnel. This is a video that is going to help me in the moment, because this is something that you have to return to. So if you're ever feeling in doubt, if you're ever feeling like you're starting to become misaligned, and what I mean by misaligned is you're starting to doubt if it'll ever come. You're starting to get antsy and anxious, right? You're starting to put a lot of pressure on the when. Your physical reality may be overwhelming you. It may be hard to find things to smile about. You may be struggling right now, right? Some people call it a wobble, right? A little hiccup, right? So if you are experiencing that, then this is the video for you. I'm experiencing my own little hiccup, my own little wobble for different reasons. It might not even be a true hiccup or a wobble. You're just having feelings. You're having this deep transformation. You're letting things go. You know, you feel a little bit of mourning, a little bit of relief. You're feeling some excitement. You're feeling some nervousness. And it can kind of come off as fear sometimes. And before you label an emotion, before you label yourself as misaligned, you know, watch this video as well. Because this video can be like, well, you know what? I'm actually not misaligned. I'm feeling a lot of emotions. But if you don't know what you're feeling, you can start to mislabel that. And this is how I'm going to be telling you how to deal with those feelings as well, where you're just not so sure. So the days where you're not feeling as high vibrational, right? Or as joyful and as happy, right? The days where, you know, you're kind of wanting to rush the process. So even if you're not feeling true fear, all the nervousness and excitement can kind of turn into self-doubt if you aren't channeling it or are aware of it. It can start to channel into self-doubt. It can start to channel into rushing the process. And when you rush the process and rush the journey, then that's when the true wobbles happen. Because you're like, okay, I need it to happen by then. And you're putting all this pressure. And all of this pressure, all this internal pressure turns into actual inner resistance. So maybe it would have happened by the time that you're thinking it would have happened by. But by you being like, oh no, it needs, and you're thinking about it every 5 seconds, or every time you're not doing something, your mind wanders there, and it's all of this angst, and now when you're thinking about it, all of these bad things start to pop up in your head about, well, I need this blessing to come in because I've been struggling with money, and I've been struggling with where I'm living with, and I've been, you know what I'm saying, instead of, no, I deserve this. Oh, it's gonna feel so good when I get this. No, you get the difference, and that's when we start to veer off from our alignment. That's when the resistance starts to pop up and actually delay us, right? Sometimes, you know, I get that a lot. In my personal readings, you know, I don't get personal readings. I get collective readings because, and that may be you too. It's like, hey, one, you may not be able to afford personal readings, or two, you may be guided away from personal readings, as I have. So if this resonated with you, take this as your personal reading, okay? And I get it, discernment. And you'll start to know if something makes you feel like, okay, yes, I needed to hear that. That was exciting. Even if you kind of don't want to hear it, you're like, okay, yeah, I did need to hear that. But if you're listening to something and, this, everybody's discernment hits differently. Mine's, I'll get this gut feeling. I'll be like, okay. That's the first thing where I can know, where it kind of dawns on me like, hey, this isn't for me. I'd be like, okay. All right. Because even if it's something I don't need to hear, I'd be like, yup, I do need to do that so I can do this and I do that. All right, bet. Because I'm a person where I always want to figure out how to get better. Who, you know what I'm saying? Who I don't need to have in my life. Right? But if it's something where it really makes you puzzled and you're really trying to figure out how it fits into your life, if you're trying to fit and match the pieces, then maybe that isn't for you. Okay? Maybe it's something that you need to hear. Maybe it's not the time for you to hear it as well. Maybe you'll go back to a reading and be like, hey, I actually didn't hear that, but it was some things that needed to happen first before I truly understood how it applied to me. And that's okay. Okay, do not rush the process. Because if you try to apply something in your life like, oh, I need to cut this person off, but you don't truly deep down understand why. Like me, everybody doesn't learn like this, but you get the most wisdom that way. When you kind of, confirmation, and this was like something that I needed to hear just now too, because I've been through so many terrible experiences because I just didn't learn the first time. I wanted the whole wisdom experience, and that involves seeing people rare, true, blue, ugly. That's having situations turn sour to south. That's seeing how far people really push things. But you really know each and every time it's more wisdom that gets accumulated, okay? Where you truly get the ins and outs and the odds of what that experience was and why you needed to stay away from that person. You get to learn about people as well. But that's me, right? If you're with me, hey, I'm with you. So don't feel bad about the experiences you went through. Like, dang, somebody told me, like, they felt like such and such was shady, and I just didn't see it at the time. And then something happened, but I could avoid it if I had just left it. No. Because if you don't truly learn for yourself, then it'll always happen again. Know that when you learn for yourself, you will always keep those lessons. You can always apply it to the next person who has an even better disguise, the person that will fool even that friend. You'll be like, nope, I feel it, or I just know it, or I heard my guys say, no, not that one, they like this one. Or an image popped up in my head where I felt like I was seeing the same person. And I'm like, you know what? And that's your inner self being like, eh. I don't know if you can hear that raven. Like, eh. And that was a crow. I'm trying to learn the difference between crows and the ravens. Like, I think they're both there. Maybe a male and a female. Because I think the raven more like, caw, caw, caw. And that was like more like, That's ravens. Very, very, very heavily spiritual beings, you know. That might be Mama Morgan coming. The Morgan, I call her Mama Morgan, coming to visit me. Anyways, Alignment, right? Like, hold up, like, what? So the days where you feel like nothing is gonna change, right? So it could be because of many things. And and that I was talking about the readings. And so if that's for you, then that's for you, right? That little aside, because that was like a little veering off. But I feel like a lot of people are kind of in question about that, and I think that'll help. But if you're in general, if you're truly feeling like, or you're having feelings, you're having excitement, you're having anticipation, you're having fears, you're having worries, because that can feel similar. And it all boils down to your manifestation coming in, when it's going to come in. You may be thinking how it's going to come in, things like that. And all you have to do is take care of yourself, stay in the present moment, and play. Those are the three things that is going to kind of get you back into surrender. Because when you feel like nothing is going to change, you've removed yourself from surrender, whether it's out of excitement, out of anticipation, out of actually feeling the thing come. It may be such a beautiful manifestation, such a big blessing, that as it comes to you, you're like, whoa. Things start to shake up inside of you, and you're like, whoa. As chapters start to end, as you're ending the old to make way for the new, it can feel a little empty. It can feel a little bit like, but where is mine? Where is what I'm supposed to have? And that question in itself starts to breed self-doubt, starts to breed, like I said, that inner resistance, that fear, that worry. It starts to put you in a sadness that you don't need to have, because you're not surrendering. You're not trusting that the divine is going to give you exactly what you need when you need it, babe. Not where is it? It's coming. It takes you out of gratitude, where you're not looking at how you're already being loved. It was a door that was already closed that somebody tried to open for me yesterday. And I actually had gotten into an argument with the person, because I'm like, that door needs to stay closed. Like, it's a reason why that door needs to stay closed. Like, I already know, I already been through it, like, for years, for decades with these people. The door needs to stay closed, right? But because, and I'm going to say it was a co-parenting situation. It was like, and because, like, it's not just me that's a parent, I don't have a total 100% say. They went on ahead and tried to open up the door, but the door wouldn't budge. The divine made sure the door wouldn't budge. But it was a thing where it actually ended up working out beautifully. But it was a thing where it was like, you planned my baby's birthday, both my baby's birthday parties, they're only 2 days apart, at like a kids zone, an indoor playground. And it was only 10 kids, and 6 of them was behind that closed door that wasn't supposed to open. So, you know what I'm saying? That's most of the party. Another door closed in his face too. I don't know whether he was going to keep the door closed, but that's his business with his family. So that was all of the people. A friend of his ended up coming. It ended up working out for my babies. But you spent all that money for nobody to show up, for doors that I already told you didn't need to open. I already knew it was going to happen. And that kind of left me feeling like, even looking at him, being like, dang, I'm not mad. He's such an awful person, but I'm not mad that he got that friend. It was like, well, where the fuck is my friend at? Like, where is the one that I can call on to come up and show up and showed out. Where is that for me? Like, hold it. And so I woke up this morning having to check myself. You know, that's why I'm like, this is such a message for me, because I'm feeling like I'm so lacking in support right now. But I had to think, like, when I was talking about the gratitude, like, hey, the spirit, I need to be grateful for spirit, because spirit kept that door shut. Because any open doors to the past is closing the doors back to my future, and there is no going back. I need to walk into my future. That is what I'm asking for. And so spirit kept that door shut. No matter how many people tried to bang on that door, it stayed shut. So for me to be grateful for that. And that children that young, they don't know the difference in what. It was 2 parties next door and they was jumping, like packed. They were present in the present moment. All they did was worry about themselves. They didn't look at the other parties and register that other people had more. They had a ball with what they had. And that's all I can ask for, is for them not to feel how I felt. You know? And they didn't. And it was for me to know not to feel that way. It was confirmation, like, you know what? That's the old. Why am I still feeling that way? That's the old cycle. That's the old wound of abandonment and rejection that I don't need. I didn't need that, you know? And my children aren't feeling it, so I don't need to feel it so deeply where it's like, oh, you rejected my children too. And it's like, they ain't feel rejected. And they got beautiful presents. She showed up and showed out. She brought 2 presents each for them. It was just actually 3 presents each, like 4 big boxes, like one person. And they loved playing. My son loved playing with her 2 nephews. It was just, and they were basically the whole party. I had someone else show up, but it was just, it felt like a pity show up, because I showed up to his this year. And it felt like almost like a nosiness. You know, people like to see your downfall. People like to see you if they feel like it's, oh, dang, ain't nobody, let me come see. No. It happened beautifully. It really did. It happened the way it was supposed to happen. And I know in my heart, and Spirit actually said it to me, Spirit put it in my brain, it will never happen like that again. It was for him to stop trying to open up that door. That was a divine door that closed, and not even he can open it back up. So that was such a blessing, right? So it kind of trickled in today where I'm like, okay, well, where is it? Where is my new, where? And I'm like, oh, center. I'm going to do some yoga after this. I got my spring. You know what I'm saying? I don't show no labels, because they won't pay me for this shit. Because I believe one day. I believe. Getting free promotion off me. I want to try well water on a different aside. Okay, so this is about y'all. Okay, anyways. So that's what you do. You play. You take a moment to recenter yourself. You take a moment to take care of yourself. Even if you got to sit and talk to yourself and be like, hey, or talk to divine. Like, hey, send me something that let me know I'm still on the right track. Give me some reassurance. Because what the divine would rather you do, the divine will rather you ask for reassurance over and over and over and over and over again than for you to step out of alignment. Asking for reassurance isn't stepping out of surrender. It's when you ask the divine, I need to know when. That's not reassurance. Those are answers. They may not be able to give you the answers, but they can tell you, they can give you something. They can send you a butterfly. They left me a feather saying, hey, no, you're still on the right path. It's still coming. It's still coming now. It's still coming. I'm popping these damn mosquitoes. Y'all know me. Pop, pop, pop. Anyway, it's still coming. And that's all you need to know. So that question of, well, where's my friend, or when they're gonna come, it just disappears. I know they're gonna come. So today's gonna be a short video. I'm so grateful to be able to do this. I'm so grateful to be able to do this and to spend the rest of my day with my baby. Yeah, sorry, I just started inner monologuing. It just like smoothly I had like a pause and then it was gonna start the inner. I'm a little spacey in my brain. I'm out here grounding. Make sure you go out in nature and ground. Ask nature for some optimism. Ask nature for hope and strength during your times of where it's getting a little, but it could be all part of the plan. But instead of like feeling like this not part of the plan, and then you're resisting your new beginning, your blessing. You know, sometimes some shit gotta shake up before you get some shit, you know? It gotta get a little uncomfortable, a little rocky. But it's all part of the plan. So I'm gonna sit out here, I'm gonna ground. I'm gonna do me some yoga, drink some water, and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna play with my babies. And have a great day. So, I hope this resonates. I hope you guys have watched it to the end. I hope it helped you for the days where you're feeling like you're feeling misaligned, you're feeling like nothing is changing. You're starting to almost, your faith is having a bit of a wobble, you know? You're starting to step out of surrender mode. This is how you get back in, you know? And be easy with yourself, okay? Ask for help. They know that the journey is long. They know that you don't know. They know that you've just been walking and walking and walking and walking, hoping that eventually you're gonna reach some type of rest. They know it. But sometimes it can be hard for us to know that you've been walking and walking and walking. You be like, dang, am I going in the wrong direction? Should I have reached it by now? I need a sign. And they'll send you a sign to be like, nope, keep walking. You got this. They'll send you a small reprieve if you're really like down in the dumps. They'll send you something really big, something that lights you up. And big, as I mean, not your actual blessing, like smaller than your blessing, but bigger than just maybe a butterfly. They'll have somebody maybe pay for your coffee or something, you know, something that really lights you up. They'll have somebody give you a compliment. Something that doesn't usually go in your favor or go in your favor, you know? Or it'll be like, dang, I've really had a really, like, lucky day today. Like, my favorite show was on. I got to eat my favorite food. Everything was really smooth. Everything was really nice. That person who usually gives me attitude didn't give me attitude today. You know, they'll make things lighter for you in your times of a wobble as you're trying to realign. Okay? They're only going to give you what you can handle, and they want you to get to that end result. Okay, this is where I leave you. Like, share, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video.